Ladies and gentlemen, life has a way of throwing us into storms we never saw coming. It tests us, breaks us, and sometimes leaves us questioning our very existence. But what if I told you that your struggles are not meant to define you? They are meant to refine you. There was a time in my life when I thought everything had come to an end. I stood at a crossroad where I had two choices: to surrender to my pain or to rewrite my story. I chose the latter. I learned that pain is not our enemy. It is our greatest teacher. It strips away the illusions and reveals the strength we never knew we had. When I embraced my struggles, I discovered that they were shaping me into someone unbreakable. The way we see our challenges determines how we rise from them. When we shift our perspective, we stop seeing ourselves as victims and start seeing ourselves as warriors. Every scar, every tear, every sleepless night, it all becomes a testament to our resilience. And here's something I want you to remember. Your story matters. The world needs to hear it, not because of how perfect it is, but because of how powerful it is. You are living proof that even in the face of adversity, one can stand tall, one can shine, one can inspire. So today I ask you, will you let your struggles define you, or will you use them to create a story of strength? You are enough, just as you are. No obstacle, no failure, no past can take away the light within you. Rewrite your story. Make it a masterpiece of resilience, courage, and hope. Your struggles are not your identity. They are your strength. This is a truth many of us fail to see when we are caught in the whirlwind of life's hardships. When we face difficulties, it is easy to believe that we are defined by our pain, our failures, or the challenges that seem impossible to overcome. But the reality is that struggles do not diminish who we are. They shape us into who we are meant to be. The most powerful people in history, the ones who inspire us, are not those who lived easy, perfect lives, but those who turned their adversities into stepping stones for greatness. Struggles often come uninvited. They crash into our lives like fierce storms, leaving us drenched in doubt and uncertainty. Some struggles are external: loss, rejection, financial difficulties, or failures. Others are internal: the battles with self-doubt, fear, and the voices that tell us we are not good enough. But no matter what form they take, struggles are not a sign of weakness. They are a testament to our ability to endure, to fight, and to rise. It is only in the face of hardship that we truly discover our inner strength. When we experience difficulties, the first instinct is often to ask, "Why me?" We feel trapped, questioning what we did to deserve the pain. But what if we change the question to, "What is this struggle teaching me?" Every challenge carries a lesson. It forces us to look within, to grow, to adapt, and to build resilience. It pushes us beyond our comfort zones and leads us to parts of ourselves we never knew existed. Without struggles, we would remain stagnant, never truly understanding the depth of our potential. Think about a seed buried in the soil. In the darkness, it faces pressure, isolation, and resistance. But instead of giving up, it pushes through, growing roots that anchor it and shoots that reach for the sun. Our struggles are like that soil. Uncomfortable, overwhelming, but necessary for our growth. Without them, we would never develop the strength we need to thrive. Often, we believe that our struggles make us less than others. We compare our behind-the-scenes battles with someone else's highlight reel. We see successful people and assume they have never known hardship. But if we look closer, we realize that every remarkable journey is built on a foundation of struggle. The greatest minds, the strongest leaders, the most inspiring figures all have stories of pain, loss, and failure. What sets them apart is not that they never struggle, but that they refuse to let their struggles define them. They embrace their hardships and turn them into fuel for success. The truth is, struggle rewires us. It strengthens our character, sharpens our vision, and deepens our understanding of life. It teaches us to be patient, to persevere, and to find light even in the darkest moments. Some of the most compassionate, wise, and resilient people are those who have endured the most suffering. They understand pain because they have felt it, and in that understanding, they find the strength to uplift others. When you stop seeing struggles as an identity and start viewing them as a source of strength, you unlock a new version of yourself. You no longer define yourself by what went wrong, but by how you overcame it. You start seeing every setback as a setup for a greater comeback. You realize that without the heartbreak, you wouldn't have known resilience. Without failure, you wouldn't have discovered determination. Without loss, you wouldn't have appreciated the value of what you had. We must remind ourselves that scars are not signs of weakness. They are marks of survival. Each scar, whether physical or emotional, tells the story of a battle fought and a challenge conquered. Instead of hiding them, we should wear them with pride, as proof that we endured what was meant to break us and emerged stronger. Strength is not found in the absence of struggle, but in the way we rise despite it. Some of the most unbreakable people are those who have faced the worst, yet refuse to let it define them. They do not allow their hardships to turn them bitter. Instead, they use them to become better. They transform their pain into purpose, their fear into courage, and their struggles into stepping stones towards something greater. Our circumstances do not define us. Our response to them does. Life will test us, but it is in those tests that we find our true power. Every time we choose to rise instead of surrender, we prove to ourselves that we are stronger than we ever imagined. We are not the failures we have experienced, the pain we have endured, or the struggles we have faced. We are the strength that carried us through, the courage that refused to quit, and the resilience that turned adversity into triumph. So, when life presents you with struggles, do not let them define you. Let them strengthen you. Let them mold you into the person you are meant to become. Because at the end of it all, your struggles are not your identity, they are your greatest strength. Pain is an inevitable part of life. It comes in many forms: loss, failure, rejection, disappointment, and often arrives unannounced, shaking the very foundation of our existence. When pain strikes, our first instinct is to resist it, to push it away, to pretend it doesn't exist. We numb it with distractions, hoping it will fade on its own. But the truth is, the more we run from pain, the more it lingers. Transformation does not begin in comfort. It begins in the moments when we choose to face our pain rather than escape it. It is in embracing pain that we find the power to change, to grow, and to become the strongest versions of ourselves. Pain is not an enemy, it is a messenger. It arrives not to destroy us, but to reveal something within us that needs attention. When we avoid pain, we also avoid the lessons it carries. We stay trapped in the same cycles, repeating the same mistakes, fearing the same fears. But when we choose to sit with our pain, to acknowledge it without judgment, we open the door to self-discovery. We begin to understand the deeper reasons behind our suffering. Every tear, every heartache, every moment of despair is a signal that something within us is calling for transformation. Some of the greatest breakthroughs in life come after the most painful experiences. Pain strips away the illusions we have built around ourselves. It forces us to confront our weaknesses, our fears, and the parts of ourselves we have ignored for too long. It is in those raw, unfiltered moments that we gain clarity. We begin to see what truly matters, what we need to let go of, and what we must fight for. Pain has a way of shattering our comfort zones, pushing us toward change we never thought possible. The process of embracing pain is not easy. It requires courage to sit with discomfort, to feel emotions deeply rather than suppress them. But when we do, something incredible happens. We begin to heal. Healing is not about forgetting pain or pretending it never happened. It is about accepting it as part of our journey. It is about recognizing that even our deepest wounds carry the potential for strength. The more we allow ourselves to feel, the more we allow ourselves to grow. Pain humbles us. It reminds us that we are human, that we are not invincible, and that we all have our battles. But it also reveals our resilience. Think of the people who inspire us the most, those who have faced the worst and still found a way to rise. Their strength was not born out of an easy life, it was shaped by pain. They did not let their suffering define them. They used it as fuel to transform. That same power exists within each of us. Growth does not happen in moments of ease, it happens in moments of struggle. The caterpillar must endure the darkness of the cocoon before it can become a butterfly. The diamond must go through intense pressure before it shines. The strongest trees are those that have weathered the harshest storms. Similarly, our pain prepares us for something greater. It teaches us patience, endurance, and the ability to find light even in the darkest places. When we stop resisting pain, we stop fearing it. We begin to see it as a necessary step toward becoming who we are meant to be. Every challenge, every setback, every heartbreak is shaping us in ways we may not understand in the moment, but one day we will look back and realize that our pain was not breaking us, but was building us. The fire that once burned us was forging us into something stronger. The journey of transformation begins the moment we stop running from our pain and start listening to what it is trying to teach us. It is in those moments of raw vulnerability that we find our true strength. Pain is not the end of our story, it is the beginning of a new chapter. It is the moment we realize that even in our brokenness, we are capable of incredible transformation. Life is filled with unexpected challenges, disappointments, and failures. No matter how carefully we plan, setbacks are inevitable. They come in different forms: missed opportunities, personal losses, professional failures, or emotional struggles. In those moments, it is easy to feel defeated, to believe that we have reached the end of the road. But the truth is, setbacks are not the end. They are opportunities in disguise. The difference between those who rise and those who remain stuck lies in one simple thing: perspective. How we choose to see our setbacks determines whether they break us or make us stronger. The power of perspective is what turns failures into lessons, obstacles into stepping stones, and setbacks into comebacks. Perspective is the lens through which we view life. Two people can experience the same hardship, yet one will emerge stronger while the other remains stuck in bitterness. It is not the event itself that defines us, but how we interpret and respond to it. When faced with failure, one person might say, "This proves I am not good enough," while another might say, "This is a chance to learn and improve." The first perspective leads to discouragement, the second leads to growth. This shift in mindset is what transforms setbacks into opportunities for a powerful comeback. Setbacks often feel like closed doors, but sometimes they are redirections. What seems like rejection may be a push towards something better. Many successful people have stories of failure before they found their true path. Famous entrepreneurs have faced bankruptcies. Athletes have suffered career-threatening injuries. And artists have been told they were not talented enough. If they had accepted those setbacks as permanent defeat, their success stories would never have been written. But they chose to see failure as a lesson, a challenge, and a stepping stone rather than an endpoint. They shifted their perspective and used their failures as fuel for their comebacks. When we face difficulties, our instinct is often to focus on what went wrong. We replay our mistakes, dwell on the unfairness of life, and sink into self-pity. But focusing on the problem only makes it bigger. Perspective allows us to step back and ask, what can I learn from this? Instead of seeing setbacks as punishments, we can choose to see them as opportunities for growth. Every challenge carries a lesson, and every failure has the potential to make us wiser, stronger, and more resilient. One of the most powerful shifts in perspective is realizing that we are not victims of our circumstances, we are creators of our future. No matter what happens to us, we always have the power to decide how we respond. We can either stay stuck in resentment, blaming life for our misfortunes, or we can take responsibility for our comeback. The greatest success stories are not those of people who had everything handed to them. They are stories of people who faced adversity, refused to give up, and turned their pain into purpose. Perspective also helps us see setbacks as temporary. In the middle of a storm, it feels like the rain will never stop, but storms always pass. Likewise, our failures, losses, and disappointments are not permanent. Time moves forward, and so do we. What feels like the end of the world today may be the beginning of something better tomorrow. The ability to see beyond the present struggle and envision a brighter future is what fuels resilience. People who succeed after setbacks are those who believe in their ability to rise again, no matter how hard they fall. Every setback is a test of character. It reveals our strength, patience, and determination. Without difficulties, we would never truly understand our potential. Just like muscles grow stronger through resistance, we grow stronger through challenges. The struggle itself is what builds the strength needed for a comeback. If we never faced setbacks, we would never develop the skills, wisdom, and resilience necessary to achieve great things. The most inspiring comebacks in history happened because someone refused to accept defeat. They looked at their failures and saw opportunities instead of dead ends. They understood that no setback is final unless we decide it is. Perspective is the key that unlocks the door to transformation. When we shift how we see our struggles, we stop being victims of circumstance and become architects of our own success. The same challenges that could have destroyed us become the very things that shape us into stronger, wiser, and more powerful individuals. A setback is never the end of the story. It is just the beginning of a greater comeback. Your voice is the most powerful tool you have. It is the instrument through which you can express your truth, share your experiences, and impact the world around you. Every single one of us has a unique story, one shaped by our struggles, our triumphs, our failures, and our growth. Your story is not just a collection of events, but a reflection of who you are and who you are becoming. When you own your journey and speak your truth, you not only empower yourself, but inspire others to do the same. The world needs your voice because it is through our stories that we connect, heal, and grow together. The first step in using your voice to inspire others is to own your story without shame or fear. It's easy to feel as though our past mistakes, our failures, or the pain we have endured make us less worthy of sharing our journey. We worry about judgment, rejection, or being misunderstood. But the truth is, your story, in all its rawness, is what makes you relatable. It is what makes you human. No one's journey is perfect, and pretending that yours is only creates distance. When you embrace your story, with all its ups and downs, you give others permission to do the same. You remind them that they are not alone in their struggles, that their imperfections are not weaknesses, but the very things that make them unique. Owning your journey means being honest about where you've been and where you're going. It means accepting that you may not have all the answers, but that's okay. You are a work in progress, and so is everyone else. Your story doesn't need to be polished or perfect to be powerful. In fact, it is often the messy, unrefined parts of our journey that hold the most meaning. They are the parts that speak to others, that resonate deeply with the shared human experience. When we stop hiding our struggles and instead speak openly about them, we create space for others to heal. Each of us carries a unique perspective on life, shaped by our experiences. When we share our story, we offer that perspective as a gift to the world. Your experiences have taught you lessons that someone else might need to hear. The challenges you've faced, the mistakes you've made, the battles you've fought, they are not just yours. They belong to the collective human experience. There is someone out there who is going through something similar, who feels isolated, alone, or lost. By sharing your story, you may be the spark that helps them find hope, direction, or courage to keep going. Your voice is not just for you, it is for others. It is a tool for connection, for community, and for change. When you own your story, you create a ripple effect. You inspire others to own theirs. You start a movement of vulnerability, authenticity, and empowerment. In a world that often values perfection and outward success, it is through our imperfections and our willingness to share our struggles that we build real, meaningful connections. When you speak your truth, you create an opportunity for others to feel seen, heard, and understood. You give them the strength to share their own stories, and together you create a community of healing and support. The more we own our journeys, the more we realize how powerful our stories are. We may not always see the impact of our words immediately, but they carry weight. When you share your journey, you become a source of inspiration, even if you don't feel like one. Your story has the ability to shift someone's perspective, to encourage them to keep going when they want to give up, to help them see that their struggles do not define them. You never know who is listening, who needs to hear what you have to say, or how your story might change someone's life. In owning your story, you also take control of your narrative. Too often, we let our circumstances define us. We let the opinions of others dictate how we see ourselves, allowing their judgments and assumptions to shape our identities. But when you own your journey, you reclaim your power. You no longer allow external forces to define who you are or what you are capable of. You take responsibility for your own narrative and tell it on your terms. Your voice is the only one that can tell your story authentically. And when you use it, you step into your full potential. Your voice matters because your story matters. No matter how small you may think your experiences are, they are significant. Every lesson learned, every hurdle overcome, and every breakthrough is part of a much larger journey. When you own your story, you acknowledge the significance of every step you've taken, no matter how difficult or painful it may have been. And in doing so, you honor not only yourself, but the impact your story can have on others. By sharing your journey with honesty, vulnerability, and courage, you give others the permission to share theirs. You create a ripple effect that inspires people to embrace their own truths, to step into their power, and to find strength in their struggles. You remind them that their voice matters too, that their story is valuable, and that they have the power to make a difference in the world. So speak up, share your truth, and inspire others by owning your journey. Your story is your power, and when you use it, you transform not just your own life, but the lives of everyone around you. There is a powerful truth that we must remind ourselves of every single day. You are enough. No matter where you come from, no matter what you've been through, no matter what others may think or say, your worth is not defined by circumstances, achievements, or failures. It is inherent in who you are as a person, in your very existence. Yet so many of us spend our lives questioning our value, seeking validation from external sources, or allowing life's challenges to convince us that we are not enough. We let our mistakes, our setbacks, and the opinions of others shape how we see ourselves. But the truth remains, you are enough. You have always been enough, and nothing can take that away. From the moment we are born, we are worthy. We come into this world with infinite potential, with a unique purpose that only we can fulfill. But as we grow, we begin to absorb the messages society sends us. We are told what is expected of us, what is considered valuable, what is good enough. We learn that our worth is tied to our success, our appearance, our achievements, and the approval of others. But this is a lie. Your value is not determined by these external factors. It is not conditional. It doesn't fluctuate based on how much you accomplish or how many people praise you. Your worth is fixed. It is in your very being, your humanity, your heart. When we face failure, rejection, or difficult times, it's easy to fall into the trap of believing that something is wrong with us, that we are less than we were before. We see our struggles as signs that we are not good enough, not deserving of happiness, success, or love. But these are not the things that define us. Our worth is not diminished by our circumstances. In fact, it is in our hardest moments that we often discover our greatest strength. We learn resilience, compassion, and perseverance in the face of adversity. It is through our struggles that we build the character and the wisdom that make us truly powerful. Your worth is not determined by the things that happen to you. It is not defined by the mistakes you've made, the things you've lost, or the times you felt like you weren't enough. These are just moments in your life. They do not define the essence of who you are. You are not your failures. You are not your setbacks. You are not the harsh words others may have said about you. You are not the mistakes of your past. You are a person worthy of love, respect, and happiness, no matter what has happened. Or too often, we look outside of ourselves for validation. We seek approval from others, whether it be from our families, our friends, or society. We tie our worth to the things that others value, whether it's career success, financial status, physical appearance, or popularity. But the truth is, no one outside of you can truly define your worth. Only you have the power to do that. And when you look inside and recognize that you are enough, you stop depending on others to tell you so. You stop looking for outside approval because you no longer need it. You understand that your value is inherent and it doesn't require anyone else's confirmation. You are not defined by how much you have, how much you've achieved, or how many people praise you. Your worth lies in your kindness, your courage, your ability to love and be loved, your capacity to grow, and your strength to keep going even when life gets tough. You are enough simply because you are human, because you exist. You are worthy of all the good things life has to offer, not because of what you do, but because of who you are. We all go through moments where we feel like we're not enough, where we feel like we've failed or fallen short. But these moments are not the measure of our value. These are just temporary experiences, and they do not define our identity. Your worth is constant and unchanging, no matter what you go through or what you face. Even in your lowest moments, you are enough. Even when you feel broken, lost, or uncertain, you are still enough. When we realize that we are enough just as we are, we free ourselves from the burden of trying to prove ourselves to the world. We stop chasing validation and start living authentically, embracing ourselves for who we truly are. We stop comparing ourselves to others and start appreciating our unique qualities and experiences. We learn to love ourselves fully without needing anyone else's permission or approval. We recognize that we don't have to be perfect to be worthy of love, success, or happiness. We are enough simply because we exist, and that is more than enough. In a world that constantly tells us we need to be more successful, more attractive, more accomplished, it's easy to forget that we are already whole. But the truth is, you are enough right now. You don't have to do anything to prove it. You don't have to change who you are to earn your worth. You are enough as you are, in this very moment, with all your imperfections, your struggles, and your dreams. You are worthy of love, respect, and happiness, not because of what you do, but because of who you are. So the next time you feel like you're not enough, remind yourself of this truth. You are enough. No circumstance, no person, no failure, no setback can change that. You are worthy simply because you exist, and nothing can take that away from you. You are enough, and that is all you need to be. Thank you.